Okay, sitting here getting ready, and I got something in my eye, so excuse the freaky appearance here. I'm listening to Connor Beaton with Owen Marcus, and they're talking about their work with men in terms of helping them connect with themselves, develop some emotional intelligence, and essentially reclaim their power in life. And one of the fears that men have addressed to them is that if I get in touch with my emotions, am I going to lose my ability to do what I do in life? My drive, whatever, my passion for my work, my focus, whatever it is. And he says, well, yeah, the bad news is you will. And I can speak to this having done some work of my own. And in the beginning, what I found was that things kind of got a little bit worse. And I thought, my God, am I doing this wrong? Is this a mistake? Should I just go back to the awful I know and be able to function in the world in the ways that I'm responsible for? Um, and then I heard someone raise a question on a live where they said, why is it I seem to be struggling to do things I used to do with relative ease? And the answer was that this was when I was following a lot of Richard Grannon's work, and what he said was that when you pull out the neurotic underpinnings that allowed you to do what you do, the crazy dysfunctional energy inside of you that spurs you almost compulsively to do things in life, you're going to be left with a void, and you're going to have to build new healthy um, structures and new drives to take the place of the old damaged programs. And it's important to realize that when we go into this work, we're basically entering a demo phase. You cannot rebuild when you've got a dilapidated house with the roof caved in. You have to clear the site. You have to tear it all out. It will get worse before it gets better. It looks like nothing but destruction initially. But in pressing through that, what you end up with, this sucks too, is basically a cleared work site, right? And as you're doing demo, what we really need to do is be bringing in the materials and the tools to allow us to build on that work site and to be able to begin developing a plan. And by the time you get to where everything's leveled and you say, now I have nothing, it's not ever really nothing, but in certain domains, it does really level us. And from that place, having come in with that understanding, with a vision for what we'd rather replace that with, while building a stockpile of materials and developing the skills to use the tools that we bring into that space, we are able then to sort of hit the ground running on this new cleared space we've created. And what will happen is very quickly you'll get the foundation squared away, you'll get the floor square, you'll be able to start building up the walls, and before you know it, you're working on the roof. And if we understand it as basically demolishing one building to build another, what happens in between makes a lot more sense and is much less disconcerting and discouraging. And so this is a really key point in understanding if we're going to undertake any kind of healing process. Yeah, it's going to suck at first. It's a lot like deciding I'm going to get in shape. At first, you're winded and sweaty and sore and hating life. But as you go on, you find you're enjoying the high you get. You're enjoying the sense of strength, the sense of self-respect, because you're showing up and doing the thing. And it's very similar with this process, where it's going to suck initially, but that is the process. You're not doing it wrong. You are on course. This is just how things get rebuilt. And so I just wanted to share that insight while I'm rushing around here trying to do a thing, because this was a very pivotal revelation for me in my process when I felt I was coming up against a lot of walls and banging my head against them and wanting to tap out. But I was pretty tenacious. I was pretty determined. And when I heard Richard Grannon talking to this uh, one individual who had raised the question of why do I seem to be struggling to do things that I used to do with ease, and he said, this is how it works. You're pulling out the broken systems that, like, propped you up to do this thing from a terrible place under difficult conditions in an unpleasant state, and you're replacing them with much more functional and pleasant and fruitful ways of doing things, such that once you're on the other side, I tend to think of it as getting off the launch pad. How much power does it take to launch a rocket and to get a shuttle up through the atmosphere? It's intense, but once you're out there, you're just floating. And I'd like to see us all break through that atmospheric pressure and get out to where we can float in peace. And it takes so much less. It's just that little burst of energy to get in a new direction. And so I hope that this insight is encouraging and clarifying and of some value to you as you continue to find your own way forward through the wonders of the human condition. Okay, well, thank you for joining me. I look forward to seeing you in the next round. Take care.